Your golf swing will be ever evolving. Even till right now, 15 years in, I'm still working on things. That's part of your golf swing. But golf etiquette is something you can learn quite early in your golf journey, which is why, if you've probably seen my previous video on etiquette, this is round 2, and there'll be many more rounds for you to learn because there's a lot of information on golf etiquette. Hi, I'm Coach Cheyenne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know a lot of you have already subscribed, and thank you for doing that, but if you're new, feel free to click that button right over there. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Shane Hawksworth. He is the superintendent at my Laura golf course. He will be telling us how to fix a divot on the tee box in the fairway by the green, how to fix your pitch mark or your ball mark. So we will go through the etiquette of all of those 3 things, which is very important, as I've told you in the beginning, being on the golf course. Now, if I was to do a practice swing, right? There's the hole, I want to do a practice swing, and I'm new, and I do one of those. And I make a nice big hole in your beautiful grass, and I'm sure you want to hurt me right now, but a divot is essentially a hole you've created in the grass. Now, Shane, at this point, I no longer have a chunk that I can physically pick up and place on top of here. So what would I do in this situation? Do you want me to fill it with anything? How does it work on a tee box?
Well, a lot of places are different. Like, some places might have a box with sand in it,
okay,
and a little shovel. Nowadays, can't have anything to touch, of course, with
right, COVID, yeah.
So if they do have that, you would fill your divot up with some sand and kind of flatten it out. But a lot of places now like to do it ourselves.
Right, okay.
Because like each day the tee blocks are moved, so it'll be beat up for a day, and we can just come and put sand and do the whole thing at once and smooth it out properly. So a lot of people who haven't done it will just put a big pile of sand.
And then walk off.
Yeah, and then the mower will cut all the sand, or it won't grow properly. So a lot of places now just like we take care of the tee boxes pretty much.
Okay.
Like wool. So you can leave it. If you have a divot and you find a divot, you could put it back.
Right, so a divot essentially is a piece of grass like this that somebody did not place back. So if I create a massive hole and this piece of grass goes flying, I would then, pick it up, come back to my hole, place my piece of grass, and step on it, just like this, to flatten it up. And that would be putting your divot back. So now if I had a divot over here, I'm not going to take one, but if I took a big chunk of grass out and it flew, I would go pick that little piece up like we did on the tee box, put it down and step on it.
Definitely, yes, around the greens it's important because a lot of people can putt, or it's the shorter grass, so for sure you definitely want to keep care of divots on this type of area now that you're around the green as much as you can. Again, if sometimes the divot can't be replaced, and
right, like over here I see like a big chunk. I don't see the divot anywhere. So what would I do with something like that? Just leave it, or would I sand it?
Some golf courses you can they have sand buckets or things on the golf carts. Like if that golf cart does have that, then you would definitely fill a little sand, tap it, and kind of smooth it out as good as you can. Okay. But a lot of that we take care of when we do maintenance, general maintenance. It kind of fills it in itself, or if it's very bad, we would seed it ourselves, put some sand and seed. Okay. So it depends. If the golf course has sand and seed pails or stuff, you could fix it yourself for sure.
So now we are on the green, and we're not even going to pretend to hit a shot because we found a really nice big pitch mark. Some people call it a pitch mark, some call it a ball mark. It depends on what country you live in, I think. So essentially it's a nice little, it's exactly the imprint of a ball, right? So you've just crushed it and your ball has landed, made an imprint, and then sometimes it rolls, sometimes it just gets stuck.
Yeah, correct.
So talk to me about this.
Okay, well, first All ball marks are different.
Okay.
Some are definitely easier to fix than others. Like this one's pretty extreme.
That is very extreme.
So like I said, depends on the ball mark. They're all a bit different. Some are a lot easier to fix. Some take a divot out of the...
Look at this one.
Some take a divot right out that you can't... Yeah.
That's smaller.
That's a smaller one.
Yeah. So there's some small ones around. So,
yeah, when you can see old ones that weren't fixed properly.
Oh, they
kind of
leave a
ends
little
up
patch.
like that. So that's what
we don't
we don't want. Like there's lots of ways to fix it, but there's certain things we don't want. We don't want you to bring up the dirt from the middle.
Okay, so show us so I just want to show them there's many different kinds of divot tools is what they call these, where you fix the ball marks. So this is one, it's Golf Galaxy, no affiliation, but
let's go to this big one. It might be an easy one to show what we don't want.
What we do not want.
We don't want the dirt in the middle to come up. Okay. So like a lot of people will go in and go like
and push
this.
It up. Your brain, that's what your brain tells you
and
want to do.
That's what we don't want, basically.
Correct.
Is at the end of the day. So what you want is to kind of go behind it where it comes in at an angle, and you want to push the grass forward. Inwards toward it and kind of go around. So now the grass is like, that's a bad one, but like that's still pretty good. Like that's acceptable.
Let's show them another one. Let's show them the one that we just came from.
Yeah.
So let me see if I understood what you were saying. So what we do not want, what your brain tells you is, okay, the ball was in there. Your brain tells you you want to go in and lift it up so this middle piece pops up. Essentially is what your brain's telling you to do. But what you are saying is do not do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Do not go in
and lift up.
No.
Because then you're just pushing the dirt up.
So what you're trying to essentially do is like go on an angle and go inward.
Exactly.
And work your way slowly. Work your way slowly. This grass is very tight today. There we go. Like in. Push down and towards it. Would that be pretty?
Yeah.
And actually, you can't even see that hole anymore. And then you take your foot.
Yeah. Or your putter.
Or your putter. Mostly your putter.
There. You can't even tell
and
anymore.
You cannot even tell. Look at that. That's a pretty good job, huh?
That's good.
What if we do not do this? What ends up happening is
you get these patches on the green. Yeah.
You end up getting these patches all over the grass, and the team has worked so hard to make sure that we have beautiful, fast greens, and then we have that. And
it's important, like, at least try.
Yes.
Like if you do, I think it takes a while to get used to doing it properly. It's like a thing, the more you do it, you'll get used to it. You know, I'd rather you fix it and maybe not do it properly than to leave it. At least you're trying. Like that's the number one thing is.
But get your energy and just go towards it and at least show that you care.
Yeah, make an attempt. Because every morning we come out and before we cut the greens, we go around and fix all the ones that no one have fixed.
And how long does that take you guys?
It's definitely extra time on our day. It's probably a few minutes each green, but on 18 greens, it adds up.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's definitely something good to get used to, and even fixing one or two other ones you see while you're on the green as well.
Yeah, so I've always heard that if you're approaching the green, find yours and then fix two others.
Yeah.
That's like, excuse me, that's kind of what they've always taught us growing up playing golf is find two others. It's a community game,
exactly.
So be a part of the community and fix the little marks that you can. Yeah. Then it'll be fun for the next person playing.
Exactly, that's more what it is. It's someone's putt might have to putt over your ball mark or something, so it's kind of one of those things and keeps the greens healthy and
Quick question, now since we're in like COVID status and we cannot touch the flag poles anymore, do you still see people trying to pull them out? What are we?
Once in a while, I think people just forget. Like sometimes you'll just go back to, but to be honest, in the last while, I haven't really noticed it much anymore. I think people are getting used to the fact of it. Yeah, you see it once in a while, but I think most people are catching on. And
so let's say like when COVID ends, not if, when it ends, and now people have the choice of taking their flag out or leaving it in. What are some things, let's go closer to the flag. What are some things that you see around the hole that drive you crazy, or maybe something that we should not be doing?
Definitely when people take the flags out a lot, sometimes they'll kind of jam it into the ground, so they almost make a ball mark, something like that. Or they just drop it hard, like they'll
slam it down.
They'll kind of do that, right? But harder, and that could sometimes do damage instead of just placing it down nicely. That's another.
So when you're saying nicely, what are you saying? Like,
oh, you just like it should be hard just to set it down.
Bend down.
Yeah.
No, don't
instead
slam
of
it. Bend.
You'll see people throw them. Like you see everything kind of. A lot of people throw them kind of to the side, stuff like that. And also, when you're putting it back.
Yes, when you're putting it back, what are you doing?
A lot of people will hit the edge and damage the edge.
Edge of the hole.
So like, obviously just take your time and make sure you put it in the center.
Right.
Like I said, a lot of people hit the edge and damage it or
they damage
stuff
all of
like
this?
that. Yeah. So that's kind of a, it's not that common to be honest, but definitely you do see people throw the pins a lot, which would be the one thing that's.
I've seen a lot of people stand with their feet very close to the hole.
Yeah.
If that bothers me.
I could see as a golfer that would be more.
Yeah, because like why is your foot so close to the hole?
Really
it never needs to be that close to the hole.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
This part is like quite sensitive, you know,
yeah.
because you guys have made obviously a cut through it.
Every day we cut it sharp and.
Oh, do you every day?
Yeah, yeah. It's a new hole every day, so. Or people who grab the ball with their putters.
Oh.
So a lot of people do that and then ruin the edges. So
unless you have a disability where you cannot bend down, you need to bend down and pick your ball out of the hole. But now we can't touch the flag or anything, so most of them have this little, what do you call it, like styrofoam
it's
inside?
It's like a pool noodle.
Oh, a pool noodle inside.
Foamy kind of thing, yeah.
And then you just pick your ball, so you don't even have to bend that far down.
Yeah.
Okay. But when COVID ends, do not take the flag and slam it onto the green as was just shown. That's a big no-no. Shane, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for going, from the tee box to the fairway to your magnificent greens to let us know the do's and don'ts.
Pleasure.
So I've actually just found a divot in the fairway, and I want to show you guys, when we were talking with Shane, how you fill it with sand. So some golf carts will have something that looks like this that hangs on the side of your golf cart, okay? So this is sand in here with seeds and different things to help the divot that we've just created. We fill it in, and I'll show you how to do that. Due to COVID, most golf courses at this time will not have this just because of the touch point. But due to the video and because I've spoken to Shane, I am doing this only for demonstration purposes. But like he'd mentioned, when COVID ends, you can do this yourself. So we have the sand, we bend down and we sprinkle until we fill it up. We don't need to have a massive sand castle out of it. That is plenty. We filled up the hole, and then you step on it nice and gently just to cover it up. And voila! This is how you fill a divot. As you can see, these little pieces of grass, you cannot take this and place it back into the divot that you've just created, right? Into the hole. This is too small, it's too fine, it's not gonna help the regrowth of the grass. Unless it's a big chunk with the soil in it, you can take that and put it back in. If not, use the sand. If you have sand at your golf course, and if you don't, and if it's only this, just continue on playing. Shane and his team, or whatever course that you're at, they will take care of it and fill your divots for you. One of the things he did mention, not to take too many practice swings. That is also a great rule because you're slowing the pace of the course down. If you're taking 5 or 10 practice swings, it's just way too many. You only need one. Take a deep breath, and go for it. Any last pet peeves or things you see in the golf course that you would love to tell the viewer or the beginner golfer who possibly has no idea about it?
Definitely another thing would be damaging greens. Like
Okay.
if you have a putt and you miss your putt and you're frustrated, the odd time you'll see someone slam their club into a green, and that's a very big no-no. Like that's probably one of the worst things you can do. It's kind of disrespectful and kind of, you know, so that's definitely no-no. Don't slam your club into...
That's like somebody coming into your house with dirty, wet shoes and walking all over your house and not...
Yeah.
Right?
It's just kind of, I don't know.
Something you just don't do.
Yeah, you just don't do that.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Doesn't matter what your swing looks like, but etiquette is something that you can learn, which is why we are here to guide you. So I want to give a big thank you to Shane for taking us throughout his course and explaining to us what he does, what jobs are offered under his group, as well as etiquette. I mean, you're gonna hear it, I'm gonna keep saying it, etiquette. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment below. If you now know how to fix a divot, give me a thumbs up in the comment section below. And as always, every Thursday I release a video. You do not want to miss the next 4 videos. I have a special surprise guest in each video, as well as I am in the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, Canada. The views of these golf courses are breathtaking. If you live in BC, you definitely don't want to miss out because you will want to be playing these golf courses. And also beautiful vineyards here. And if you can't travel because of COVID, don't worry, add it to your bucket list because these are golf courses you will not want to miss. Next 4 mini-series, every Thursday, don't miss them. The whole month of July, I have something special for you. Thanks for watching, see you next week.